Busch Gardens Williamsburg is a beautiful theme park in Williamsburg, Virginia. Yesterday, as of recording this video, I had the opportunity to visit the park and ride all the coasters except for Verbolten, because it was closed. Today I'm going to rank all the coasters I rode, with the reviews of the big ones most likely coming out in the next few weeks. Without further ado, let's dive straight. Number 9, Grover's Alpine Express. I'll be honest, I haven't ridden this since 2017. The only thing I remember from this is that it was just right for my little scaredy cat soul. Moving on. Number 8, Tempesto. Tempesto. The ride that takes the gold for the worst restraints ever designed on a roller coaster ever. The restraints are so bad that I couldn't even film a POV. So I have to use some copyright-free footage for Maritime Thrills. The lap bar absolutely killed my legs, and the quote-unquote comfort collar made the roll absolutely absent of any hang time. The laterals on the non-inverting loops were also destroying my legs because of the shin guards. And overall, if this thing didn't have any of the quote-unquote comfort collars, I think I would have had a very different opinion on it, because the ride itself is very smooth. It is just absolutely massacred by the restraints. Number 7, InvadR. InvadR? 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 This ride honestly would be so great with seat padding. It was the only ride in the park that made me nauseous, which is probably because of the roughness, combined with the hard seats. You get some decent airtime, but it's very, very evident that this is a family coaster. Seat padding would genuinely make this ride amazing. I do think that this thing takes the cake for the roughest ride in the park, and this is definitely the worst major family coaster in the park. I only got one ride on it. If I come back, I will make sure to give it another chance. Number 6, DarKoaster. DarKoaster is a fun coaster, but has a horrible capacity. Honestly, even without the switch track, it still feels like a long ride to me. The launches have a decent kick, and the turns are fun. It's actually pretty forceful for a family coaster. The only real thing that it's holding this thing back is the capacity. I waited in a 25-minute line when I rode it, and it wasn't even in the outside queue yet. I understand that they probably can't fix the capacity issue, but it would be nice. And an added benefit for the long queue is that you spend a pretty long time indoors in nice air conditioning. Overall, it's a good ride with horrible capacity. Let's move on to the top 5. Number 5, Pantheon. Well, here we go. Time for some controversy. I'm sorry, but Pantheon was probably the biggest letdown of the entire trip, and maybe even the biggest coaster letdown for me, ever. I only got one ride in the back row, and I was stapled. I would have gotten more rides if the line wasn't 45 minutes almost the entire day, while all 4 of the other coasters were more manageable waits because of the single rider lines. Truly a godsend at theme parks. The ride starts off decent, with the first launch being pretty punchy and the first roll giving me some epic hang time. The second launch was fun, but the backwards launch totally caught me off guard and gave me some decent whiplash. The spike was a massive disappointment and makes me not very hopeful for Top Thrill 2. The 95-degree drop was pretty fun, and so was the stall, but everything else on the ride was pretty underwhelming. I really think that I need to get back on this on a hot summer day, and I'll probably appreciate it more then. It also felt pretty short to me. Now, this doesn't mean that I hate this model of a ride, no. I just think I rode it on probably an off day, and I'm sure that Velocicoaster, if I ever get to ride it, will probably still blow me away. Number 4, Apollo's Chariot. This and Alpengeist were probably the biggest surprises of the whole trip. From what I had heard, people said that this thing was practically forceless. Are they right? Nope, absolutely not. It might not be as good as Thunder Striker, but it is definitely much better than Raging Bull. All the hills delivered very nice floater, and I think this ride is honestly the definition of pure bliss. It's not too intense, and I think it's probably perfect for any type of rider. Pro tip, watch out for the final brakes, because they can be kind of abrupt. But other than that, this ride is just a pure fun time and a very good coaster in the park lineup. Number 3, Loch Ness Monster. Nessie, Nessie, Nessie. The best arrow I've done. One of the best old coasters out there. This ride is fantastic. The only real quote-unquote rough part to me is surprisingly the helix. And honestly, that wasn't really even that rough. It was just side-to-side jostling, and it wasn't really even that bad. Funnily enough, I thought InvadR was far rougher than this thing. Loch Ness Monster is a fun coaster, and probably one of the most photogenic coasters in the park with those iconic interlocking loops. The drop is decently floaty, and the loops themselves pull some good forces. The ops were also probably the best in the park because they were consistently rolling trains, and the line was moving almost constantly. This is an incredible coaster, and I can't wait to get back on it again. Number 2, Griffon. My first ever dive coaster was definitely a good one. Griffon is a fantastic coaster and probably the smoothest I've ever done. This was also the first time I think I've been intimidated by a ride in years. Both drops give very good floater, but oddly enough, I found the best pop of airtime in the whole ride to be that small hill into the brakes. That caught me super off guard, and I was not expecting that at all. Also, I unfortunately got assigned a row 2 on both of my rides, which means that the POV you see here might not be the best, but it's still a really good ride in row 2. The weakest part of the ride is probably the Immelmans, because they both just felt really forgettable to me. I still do think that Fury and Grizzly have better drops than this one, but Griffon is a close number 3. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The number 1 coaster at the park, and my new number 2 coaster, only behind Pantheon. Alpengeist, the best B&M I've ever done. Yes, this is better than Fury, cry about it all you want. This coaster is easily the most intense coaster I've ever done. I honestly think this could be more intense than Pantheon. Granted, I haven't ran that in 7 months due to it being closed until summer, but yeah, this ride, man, where do I even start? First of all, it looks fantastic. The operations are decent. Not the best in the park by any means, but they're still fine. Getting into the ride experience. The drop is massive and gives a nice little floater sensation, and the Immelman and loop are nice and graceful, before the absolute madness that is the Cobra Roll. This Cobra Roll. This thing feels like 2 I-305 snaps back to back while simultaneously ripping your legs off. This is the best coaster element I've ever done, period. I don't care. Then you get to the mid-course, which to snap into it actually gave me airtime somehow. I know, right? And this thing keeps its speed all the way through to the end. Controversial take, but this thing doesn't feel like it lets up at all in the final turns. It's very smooth, at least to me. It doesn't really bang my head around a lot. Granted, I had my head forward throughout the ride, but I feel like Alpengeist might be the biggest surprise of any coaster ever. Going in, I was expecting a painful, jarring ride that might have not been my favorite, but it would be still a good ride. But coming off, it instantly became my number 2 and might even have the power to overtake Pantheon. But we'll have to see about that. Overall, Alpengeist is easily the king of Busch Gardens Williamsburg and probably always will be, and it will most likely be my favorite B&M for a long time. And with that, that was my ranking of almost all the coasters at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you think that Alpengeist is the best in the park? Or do you have a completely different opinion? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content in the future, and I'll see you next time.